Have you picked your niche or your niche? How did you do it? I am struggling with that very thing right now, and I need help. Stay tuned today. We're going to talk about how you pick your niche. Okay. My friend, my good buddy Nate is not here today, but after today, yeah, he'll be back on the next video, hopefully, and maybe he can give me some feedback on the homework that comes out of this video. Okay. So I am Simone Henry, in case you don't know or remember. I am a marketing consultant, and I started in learning digital marketing while trying to help independent Christian recording artists to build their fan bases. And after a while, I determined that that may not be the right place for me. I felt like God gave me the idea way back when, and I jumped in with both feet and went at it hard, really. I started a digital download store and had a radio station as a companion. Shut down the radio station, shut down the digital download store. Because at the time I figured like for those things, I need a website, right? Have a website for the digital download store. People come to the site and they buy music. I split the money with the artists, and everybody's happy, right? Well, turns out that it wasn't just about building the website. You also have to learn how to market it. So this isn't a build it and they will come a situation. We need to actually drive traffic to it. And when the customers come, you treat them well, make it easy for them to pay you and to get what they paid for, and also get referrals, right? So that is all part of marketing, not just that client attraction piece. But first, you need to know who it is you're targeting. Who is when they hear your solution. If they have a problem, when they hear your solution, they're saying, yes, that is me. You're talking to me. I need that. Who is that person? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Because when I left the music business, I went into coaching, right? Because I sat under a couple of coaches, and they taught me their process for coaching, and then I tried some coaching for a little while, and for me, it didn't really it wasn't a perfect fit, I guess. Um, but recently I had a conversation with a young lady, and she is a program director at a radio station in North Carolina. And when I described to her my new program, she was kind of excited about it. She said, "Hey, let me make sure that I have money in my budget so that I can join your program, because that sounds exactly like what I need." And I thought, huh. I didn't think about radio stations. We were actually having a conversation for something else that she does, to be honest. But yeah, she was kind of excited. Well, that's one person who seems to feel like, you know, my solution would work for her radio station, right? So I mentioned it to a mentor, and he said, well, you know, it is closer to what you were doing before. I did work with radio stations and had some interactions with radio stations while working with artists. So, and the crazy thing is, like, I didn't really think of it as a fit. I did think about, I did think about working with labels, and I just had a conversation with somebody else, and they said, "Well, what about working with not just the radio stations, but also local television stations?" Why? Because the problems that both have are similar. I won't say the same, but they are similar. You know, they're both media outlets. They're both local, and in this. They're both in an area where they are competing pretty heavily with national networks and the internet. so, so maybe there is something that I can do to help them. Okay, so that being said, so those are the areas that I'm thinking about. So I have been following this one gentleman who runs a marketing agency that helps other marketing agencies. And one of the things that he tells us to do, like the very first thing he says to do, is to pick a niche. And then he kind of outlined how we should pick it. So here's what he said. Like, he gives us criteria basically. So this is the criteria. Um, they're large enough, and there's enough of them out there that you have plenty of opportunity for business, right? You don't want to pick a niche that's so small that you can't find customers, and you also don't want to go super broad, because then it's very difficult to really have a detailed, deep conversation with that audience. A large radio station won't necessarily have the same issues that a smaller radio station would have. So then to try and to do work for both of them and to try and capture both of their attentions is would be difficult, because they're different. Then he also talked about getting picking a niche that has an organization, a national organization. So when I was looking at coaches, coaches do have some national organizations, and I don't know if they get together every year. It's different than, like, say, funeral directors, or who else gets together every year? Well, then people have conventions and stuff every year. People get together. So, like, one of the best marketing strategies is to get on a stage and talk to an audience of people all at once, rather than one-on-one. Maybe not instead of one-on-one, but having those opportunities to talk to people on stage is fabulous, because you're collapsing time, rather than having that one-on-one conversation with 200 people. How long would that take, right? Whereas take an hour, take 90 minutes, have that same conversation with 200 people all at once. Well, how much is that going to boost your business in that short period of time, right? So he talks about finding a niche that has a national organization, um, and one that charges enough for their services that it's not a hardship for them to pay you for yours. Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So these are the ones that I'm looking at. Okay, so now that I have these ideas, I have these options in mind. Now, what I need to do is to really nail it down, make that decision, like, okay, I am going to go after this particular niche. Now, that's not to say that if somebody else comes across my path, a coach, somebody who owns a hair salon, um, you know, uh, a musician, comes to me and they want my services, that I'm going to say no. Not really. If I can help them, I can help them. My services can be used. My services are good for pretty much anybody. In my experience, most businesses need funnels. Just about everybody I have met could use a funnel. Just about every industry, everybody I've met can use automation in their businesses. But who am I directing my marketing at? Who am I directing my content to? Who am I going to specialize in? So now that I have determined that, I won't say I've determined that this is my niche. What I am going to say is that these are the ones that I'm going to look at for now, because that's not to say that it might not change again in the future. Because who knows? Like, what about you? What if you picked a niche several years ago and you've been working hard for businesses in this industry, and it's becoming difficult and tedious, and you realize like their values don't really mesh with yours. You don't like spending a whole lot of time with these people. Sometimes you need to switch it up. So my next step, now that I've kind of got it narrowed down, because I did have a list. I had a list. I did have I'm narrowing it down to these three, right? Label stations and local TV. Um, so now that I've narrowed it down, I have my next step is to follow the process that my coach and my mentor has laid out in this 30-day challenge that he put together. It's called Prepare to Niche, and it's really about helping you to decide if this niche that you want to go into is something that's going to work for you. In this 30-day challenge, he talks about, making sure it's not too broad or too narrow, doing the market research. Remember, I said that my talking to this program director and describing for her what my program does, she decided, oh, wow, this sounds really good. I could use that. Well, that's one vote in this, but I need to hear from other program directors to find out if this really is a viable option for them, if it sounds like something that they could use as well. And it's not just what it does, but it's also the budget. Like, do they charge enough in their services to make it not a hardship for them to hire me? Are my services something that they feel like if they implemented it, it would make their revenue grow and be better? If it would, bring them some consistent revenue and fill their pipeline with clients and leads, right? So that's what we're looking for. This 30-day challenge talks about your core values, doing that market research, asking them, matching their problems, their pain points with your solutions. Is your solution a match for their problem? Right? How do you help them to get success, the kind of success that they want? And so this 30-day challenge goes through all of these different things. I'm not going to call out everything that it does because it does a lot. So, but over the next week, I'm going to be going through this and making sure that I do my due diligence, and I do my research. I hit my points. He gives some really good ideas in here about how to research and how to talk to potential customers, how to hone your language so that their ears are pricked up and they go, you're speaking my language. You're talking to me right there. So, how do they make decisions? What's their decision-making process, right? And then it talks about like, it's going to help me to determine like where they hang out and figure that out, and start the process of talking to them, reaching out, having those conversations and seeing what happens from there. That's what I'm going to be doing over the next week. because this is pretty crucial, right? I want to make sure that my content is reaching the right audience, and I'm talking to people who actually um, want what I have to offer, and I want to make sure that with my content that um, that it's not falling on deaf ears, and that there is a group of people out there who are eager to hear what I have to say. Okay, so in the next video, I will report my findings, and hopefully Nate will be here, and he may chime in and see. Let's see what he says. Okay. So if you would like access to this 30-day challenge to figure out how to pick your niche, then absolutely I will make that available to you. Just click the link in the description, and I'll send it. I'll open it up for you to give you access. Okay. Thank you for so much for watching. Subscribe to this channel so that you get notified next time I post something, and like the video, comment, have you picked a niche? How did you pick yours? Are you ready for a new one? How's that going with it? And also share this video, share it to somebody who might be struggling with their niche, and may need to pick a new one. Yeah, so it may help them as well. Okay. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.